What's up, guys? My name's Mike. This is All Things Fish, and as usual, thanks for tuning in. Toro, I see you. Wish you could stay on chat, but I understand people have things going on. It's 11:30 Sunday night, 11:30 here. Maybe earlier, maybe later for some of you guys. I hope you're doing well. Good day, Craig. Hope you're doing well. I haven't had the chance to drop into many streams lately, so it's been a fairly busy weekend. That's all right. Do this and do this and do this. Scroll down over here. Post this over here, and you'll chat. Glad to hear you're doing well, Craig. Benoxky, how you doing, bud? Thanks for stopping by. It's Sunday, and like usual, I've been gone all weekend. So that means this. Yeah. Whoops. I'll get the wrong one. Oh boy, I'll get this figured out sooner or later. Switch around here. A little switcheroonie. Craig answered me, so I'm assuming you guys can hear me. And hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. But anyway, like I said, long weekend, busy weekend, out of town for a couple days, and out of town for a couple days before that for work as well. So that means it's time to do what I can to catch up in the fish room. Everybody else in the house is sleeping, which means it's time for me to hang out down here in the old fish cave and see what trouble I can hopefully stay out of. Sometimes I'm good at that, other times not so much. That's how it goes. And this. Really? Here. If anybody that wants to join in chat is welcome to. Otherwise, sometimes it can turn into me doing a whole lot of jabbering, and may or may not be entertaining. So we'll see how it goes. Before we get water changes going, toss some food in there. They should get to it pretty quickly. Unfortunately for me, so I left town on Thursday and see who left the baggie of her bashing out, which means this is not likely any good. That is a bad thing. Nobody wants me from sitting in a bad thing. So, Balmy 76 degrees down the stairs in the fish room. Currently, it is landfill for a few minutes, but 73 degrees about eye level, according to that handy dandy offer. So, there we go. And a comfortable 44%. Allegedly. However accurate that is for, I don't know, $10 at the store. Take what I can get. What I'll get. Just a rough wag. Sketty Nona. What's up, Sketty? Hope you're doing well. One of these days, Sketty, I will get to actually meet you in person. So, talk a lot. General. Couple hours ago, which is kind of a shame. It's unfortunate. J-Rock does stuff. J-Rock. Hope you're doing well. These are some M's grill pellets, I think. Label. Some of the Ken's grill pellets, some of the bigger stuff in here, such as Beta. And Lucas. Veterans, breathing hairs, some. There's some in the Rio Semi for Coltius. Student Labras, get some. And then they're almost too big for the 5 now. But I haven't had a problem yet. They level, so I'm gonna get some too. There are some of the pellets. Fish. There's some flakes in there. Just going to go into your flake. Cobalt Aquatics. I won these from one of the, I believe, either the Chicago Libraries or Chicago Aquatic Plant Society camps. They did a talk about a year ago. One they used to give away. Classically, well, I got a few points on that. As far as the quality of it, I don't know. I seem to like it. It should be here to be very healthy. It's not junk. There's stuff he wants to trade off. Here. West Africa, say, but kind of similar to Francis. What's up, Stephen? Fix your mic settings. What's wrong with it now? I sound like garbage again. Yo. How's that? Better? Don't yell at me. Is that better, Stephen? I don't listen to myself while I'm streaming. I should. I rely on you guys. I think that should be better. Oh, well. Computer mic is off. It's muted. My phone is next to computer though. But my Bluetooth is on now. So let me know if that sounds better. Step away. How about meow? Are we better over here? Can you hear me now? Good. Hopefully that's better. I think it should be better. Yay. All right. Now we're in business. Anyway, welcome, Stephen, Sarah, Jay, Craig, Ben. Ben was here. Sounds good. All right, cool. We fixed it. See, now that wasn't difficult, was it? Anyway, feed the fish. I don't know how much you heard, how much you didn't hear, but you probably don't want to hear it again. So I'll save you guys the headache of listening to me repeat myself. But like I said, maybe you did. I was gone last week. I had a trip for work. I went to Germany. Had to move some people, so just a quick trip over there and back. Did a little bit of sightseeing down in Trier, which is a lot of historic stuff. Porta Negra, which is I believe it's the oldest city gate. It's still standing in Europe, so that was cool. I was there for 2 nights, so didn't stay long. And then this weekend, so I got home Thursday, Friday, wife and drove up to Minneapolis. Son had a hockey tournament up there. So we had one game Friday night, which they won pretty handedly. 2 games on Saturday. They won one and tied one. They made it to the championship round on Sunday and ended up playing for first place. Unfortunately, they didn't win, so they ended up with second. Still got to bring home a trophy for second place, so that was pretty cool. So kind of a long, busy few days. Fish room's been a little neglected. I'm just going to knock out some water changes now. Like I said, these acrylics, you guys that are here know that they're set up on valves to drain. So that's easy. Those are draining. And while those are draining, I'm going to come over here. And I have to find a different net. One. That tank up there, that guy is a breeding group. It's a mix of some first gens and second gens that I've had now. Chalastrina, Alani, Wapoga. They've been breeding for me since I got them. And first, I'd pick eggs out of a mop, try to the eggs themselves. Some success, but not great. Then I took the mop and just moved the mop to a completely separate tank. Had a little bit better success, but I've honestly found that I have more success just leaving them in the tank with the parents to hatch out and then collecting them and moving them to a tank where they're easier to feed and take care of. So that's what I do. So I let them spawn in the mop. I let the eggs hatch out. Once they're hatched out, I feed them golden pearls for a few days, and just kind of move a batch of them at a time to a separate, it's currently a 5-gallon tank over here, where they hang out on their own and grow out until they're ready to move up in the world. We'll give these fries some golden pearls, and then I just throw golden pearls in the main tank. Like I said, there's the newer born fish. Just hang out in there for a few days. So I just throw golden pearls straight into the tank. Good day, Mark. Welcome to the stream. I suppose it's probably morning for you over there, so maybe you're getting ready for work. Maybe you work night shift, you're just getting off work. Either way, hope you're having a good one. We're not going to talk about anything super crazy. Not that I have planned anyway. Well, it's midnight on a Sunday, and we're just gonna roll with the water changes and whatever the chat has to offer, whether that be
super in-depth topics such as, I don't know, water parameters or CO2, or really shallow topics such as a tank with dirt creating enough CO2 to match any pressurized system. Um, we'll just see where the day goes. So I have some different strains of guppies and endlers over here. I might just move one of them down into June. Hello, hello. I might move one of the groups down into that L124 tank. The L124 tank is quite a bit softer, and it's full of tannins and stuff, which Steven is actually kind of doing his own little personal project on to study, I suppose, and then see what see what happens when you add tannins, botanicals, etc., to decrease your GHKH pH. So we'll see what he ends up discovering with that. But I think the water's close enough that the guppies that I would throw in there would honestly be just fine, and that frees up tank space. Not that I need more free tank space right now. I have plenty of open space. Yeah. So sure. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Cannon's sure at this point, pH remains above 8. You know, I honestly can't say that I'm surprised. I think that's something that people talk about, and they're like, oh, they just kind of take in anecdotal evidence and for truth. And nobody's ever been able to really specifically prove it. So you might be doing some groundbreaking stuff without even knowing it, Stephen. And for your time and hard work, the rest of us greatly appreciate you. Let's see. Very, very small agriculture. We need to get some apples to get it going again. Botanical, yeah. Only one way to lower pH boots and cats. Hey, hey, welcome to the show. You are the next contestant on The Price is Right. Psych. We could see if we can come up with games there. I mean, there's 7 of us here, so we could come up with some fun games to mess around with. I will say, though, at some point in time tonight, somebody will win some sort of giveaway for something. I don't know what it is yet, but you guys, you poor, muchly appreciated, loyal few that tune in to my random late night streams completely unannounced are much appreciated, because if you guys didn't tune in, I honestly don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be down here in the fish room talking to myself. Life lessons, vlogs, what's up, bud? If I'm not mistaken, now I haven't been super active on YouTube lately. If I'm not mistaken, life lessons, vlogs might be Mel. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's Mel. Maybe not. Oh. You know, I've been missing out on Steamy and Extremey, Steven, on Friday nights, but I know you still do some of the logo deals. Now that I have hopefully a little bit more free time the rest of the summer, I might just make a new logo a week so that you have endless fuel, and some of them may or may not make sense. So we'll see. Plans for a day realistic. Goncalo sword reproduced. Am I rich now? uh, you might be rich. So the Goncalo swords, occasionally I've seen them sell for as high as 200, or as low as maybe 20 or 30 bucks. It just depends on how big it is and who happens to see it when you post the listing. It can get crazy really fast. So you're not sitting on the landmine that Echinodoros Socarno is. As Goncalo is a much, much slower grower. But you might be in a little bit of money there. It's not too bad. So I have let me grab my phone quick. I don't know. We'll try this. See what I can do. Ian Eakins. Ian Eakins Atkins Nature Aquariums. What's up, brother? Suppose you're probably working tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Probably catching me on your late night dinner break or something. Yeah, it doesn't reproduce very quickly at all. So you have like the Echinodoros, like the Socarno, and your Amazon swords, and your all your popular ones. They reproduce fairly quickly. Your Opacus, like your Iguazu, Goncalo, they don't reproduce for shit. They take absolutely forever. Goncalo reproduces a little bit quicker than some of the others. Try to show you guys something quick. Okay, I don't know if this will work or not. Oops. I didn't do this. Oh boy. Try this. Let's see. Oops. Well, that's not a way to see anything. Oh, come on. Find the hole. Oh boy. Anyway. Somewhere in here. Where'd it go? Oh, little guy. Come back to me. Baby, come back. Oops. We're looking at the bottom. Dummy. Easy. There it is. Closely. That is tiny. I don't know if I can get focus. It is a. Where'd he go? Lost him now. There's one hatched out. I think that's him in the back. Fungilopanchax mirabilis hanging out in there. In the back. Move. There's a couple in there. There's not many. Ignore the nanoluteus in the back. Trying to. It's just a little guy. I don't know if I'll be able to get him or not. See him up there? There he is. Let's see. That's the first Fungilopanchax mirabilis. So I got some eggs in this peat. I wet the peat. It looks like they've started hatching out. See that little guy back there? Just a wee little guy. So I just saw him. I figured I'd show you. Yep, these shrimp. Scrimps. Pardon the mess. There's a baby scrimp. Little guy hanging out. So yeah, Achilles. So I actually had more Achilles. Unfortunately, I messed up. Well, bad timing. So I picked up from a gentleman in Hawaii. I grabbed some Epiplatus fasciolatus, some Aphyosemion, Exiduum, eggs, and then some eggs of the Fungilopanchax mirabilis. The Epiplatus and the I'm sorry, not the Fungilopanchax. Anyway, so the fasciolatus and the Exiduum, it started hatching out before they made it to me. They just took a long time in the mail. Finally got to me. They started hatching out, and I fed them a couple days, and then I had to leave for a week. So unfortunately, I believe I lost all the fry. I haven't seen it in a couple days anyway. So I think I lost all the fry just due to a food issue. So I might try them again. They're super cool fish. But the mirabilis, since they're kind of dried out and peaked, once you wet them, they'll start hatching. So I'm going to see how many I can hatch out. I think I've only got a few so far. Just kind of a fun project. Usually you can find, killie eggs fairly cheap. So Eric Wyrock popped in and passed out. Hey, Eric. Sorry about that. But appreciate you stopping by. So yeah, killies. So I've kept a few before. I've kept Nothabranchius rocobii. The last species I kept was the rocobii. There were the Zanzibars. Super cool. And then I've kept some Epiplatus in the past, some Degei. So I wanted to just try a few different species. This seller happened to be offering eggs of a few different species. So I went for it, and unfortunately the timing of a vacation to go take the Jeep out and break it, and their arrival in the mail didn't pan out for me. But I'm gonna talk to him and see. I see a fry in there. So I have at least one fry of the Exiduum, and I don't know about the fasciolatus. So, oh well. Eggs are pretty cheap. So, Ian, have you found Dr. A's secret lair? Must be an inside joke that I missed. But if you're not familiar with killies, some of them are super easy to keep. Some of them can be a little bit more of a challenge. If you're into breeding fish, though, obviously killies, they probably display some of the coolest colors of freshwater fish, and they have a wide variety of kind of reproductive breeding strategies. Some of them just scatter eggs. Some of them specifically lay eggs in, if you have your substrate spawners. Some of them are mop spawners. So it's cool to just work with different species and see how each species kind of breeds just a little bit differently. Right now, I'm just draining some of these tanks over here. I used to drain and fill at the same time, and then I got sick of cleaning water up off the floor from overflowing so many tanks. So here I sit, making things a little bit more simple, doing a lot less multitasking. And it's working out. It's getting better. I haven't had to clean water up in a while. Ooh, that's reassuring. So these, I'm down here on the floor over here. There's some antlers in here that I got from Tales from the Crypts. I believe she's based out of Iowa. I saw her at a swap meet in Omaha, Nebraska. I got some of these gold saddleback antlers. I got a few pairs, and then I deployed for a few months, and I thought I had lost all of them, but a female. But it looks like I have a male and a female in there. So we'll leave those alone, and hopefully we have good luck with them. As long as I have a male and female, they're basically guppies. You add water, boom, they do the things. June says her dream fish is coming on Tuesday. I don't know what your dream fish is, June, so you'll have to fill me in. I'm not sure. And for those of you guys in the chat, if you guys want to talk, I did post the link. Should be in the YouTube chat there. If you guys would like to jump up, June, if you want to show me your dream fish, I'd love to see it. Otherwise, you post it in the chat. I'd imagine I'm just, just spitballing here, June. But if I had to guess, I bet it's an Oscar of some sort. I don't know exactly which one, but I bet it's an Oscar of some sort. So I'm gonna move some of these, take some of these breeder boxes off. The ones that I had the different killie eggs in, and said I lost the fry. So these really aren't doing me any good, other than kind of sort of just taking up space and being in the way now. May or may not be frying here. I don't know. I don't see any, but fish are good at hiding. Maybe they're in there. I'm just gonna dump that in there, and then I will disconnect and make some space. Put that over here. Not an Oscar, June. Holy shit. You've lost your mind. Only Oscar's dreamfish is not an Oscar. Well, now you have my attention, June. I'm listening. I'm all ears or eyes if you're just gonna chat it up, which is fine, totally fine. Don't get me wrong. But I'm here. I'm curious. You have lost your mind. Indeed, you have. So let's see how far outside the box June is stepping with for a dream fish that's not an Oscar. So I can honestly, I feel pretty confident saying that all of us, unless you already knew her dream fish, are probably pretty surprised that it's not. OC, orange cones. Shoot. Orange cones. I messaged you about trying to get some fish from you, and then I haven't answered you back. I apologize. I do want to. Orange cones has some pretty awesome fish. And I do want to get some. I get distracted easily. Not one of my better characteristics, to be honest. But I haven't forgot about you. I will message you back as soon as I get off this ladder. I can cue this airline. Wow. Just like that. Clean up some of this mess in the fish room. And calling it a mess might be an understatement because the fish room's kind of a disaster. Ugh. So June doesn't want to spill the beans on the fish she's getting, so I guess I'll have to pay attention to her videos and live streams that she posts in the coming future. Spell check is terrible. Are you sure it's not just you, June? I mean, it's easy to blame spell check, but maybe it's a you thing. Just saying. Second batch, drop tank hatched. That's awesome. That is super awesome. They hatched out. And I would still like to get some from you. If we'll just sort out the details. I should be in town for the next 2 weeks. We'll just have to watch the temps, OC, and we'll see what we can make happen. So I do want to make it happen. I know I've been talking to you about it for, probably over 2 years now. So I don't want you to think that I'm bailing out on you. I've got airlines all over the place. I'm a mess, guys. I'm a mess. Smooth fish. What does smooth fish even mean, dude? I mean, smooth as in it doesn't have rough scales. Expensive. I think everybody's dream fish are expensive. I don't know. People have different dreams, though, so maybe not. A puffer? Oh, an eel. It is an eel. See, I'm not huge. Well, I'm not saying I'm not huge on eels. I'm just not super familiar with them, so I probably couldn't tell you. Well, I saw a fry in here earlier, and then I made a mess of the tank. There it is. Little guy cruising around. Hopefully there's more than one in there. But you know how killifish go. The odds of you ending up with just one are often higher than you'd like. Do some math here. Spots. A spotted, I mean, a lot of puffers have spots, but is it specifically an Amazon spotted, oh no, eel, sorry. So it's not a puffer, it's an eel. A spotted eel. So I'm not huge on eels, so SC Catahoula's, hello and good night. Thanks for stopping by. Yes and no. Oh my gosh. Spots, but not an eel. A spotted, is it Amazon or Congo spotted puffer? What is that? Tyranno Tetraodon Shodenai? Is that the Shodenai puffer? Spotted Congo? Cutest tiny helicopters. I think so. I didn't personally have the puffers, but my wife had some pea puffers when we were in college. She had a little, it was a 5-gallon tank set up in her dorm room that had pea puffers in it. They were kind of fun. They weren't too bad. They were neat. Replace a couple of my cheap Amazon lights. Well, that's cool. Where do you get power from? Because they're not lighting up very well anymore. Fortunately, they're about a dime a dozen. So just order a new set. A stingray. Holy shit. June's getting a stingray. Now you could keep a, depending on the, so now what type of stingray? Is it like the what are they, the Motoro stingrays? Are those kind of popular? And now they've, I think, flat tiger shuffle nose. That would need its own tank. That would need a whole lot more than just tank. You're getting multiple stingrays. So you're going from none of your dream fish to multiple of your dream fish, June? You're just getting after it there, aren't you? That is awesome. Well, congratulations. If you don't mind me asking, where'd you get them from? And there's quite a few sources out there these days. Before it was next to impossible to find stingrays. So that's super cool that you found them. Glad you finally found what you wanted. And oh no, that's not good, Mark. You're not supposed to step on them. Well, the easy drains are done. I'm gonna go grab the fill hose and start filling some tanks up. What I really do is some organizing. That's what I should be working on. But the organizing can wait until we're out of water. We have tanks to fill. So have tanks to drain too, but we'll get there. Maybe how ambitious I am. After we fill tanks, we'll go browse Facebook for stupid posts with retarded questions and even worse advice for shits and giggles. You know a guy. Mark probably did it on purpose. Why do you assume Mark would step on a stingray on purpose? Oh, hold on. Ian, what's up, bud?
Hey, what up, Mike?
How you doing tonight?
Doing good. I'm glad I could switch up my logo, and you still trust that it was me.
Oh, I at this point in time, whatever
It's not a
happens,
logo.
happens,
It's
man.
just a sticker I use for thumbnails and shit. But
Yeah. So you're off tonight, huh?
yeah, no work, man. I worked 6 days straight this week.
Woof. Good
So
for you.
I told them, don't call me for 24 hours. I'm blocking the store number.
How'd they feel about that?
They laughed.
Well, did
And
you
they
block
think
their
I'm
number?
kidding. Oh, yeah, it's blocked.
Just don't forget to unblock it, I suppose.
I'll block it when I unblock it when I wake up.
So what are you up to on your night off then?
Usually I just kind of like fill up my reservoirs, and then I'll just kind of sit here, watch videos, and play some games on the PC. Just kind of chill.
What's your go-to game right now?
Beam and G Drive and Helldivers 2.
I've heard. I was talking to a guy I went to school with a long time ago. He's on the Helldivers 2 train right now as well.
It's a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. I haven't had a lot fun in a multiplayer game like that in a long time, since like Black Ops 2.
Really? I haven't
Yeah.
played it myself yet, so I really haven't even looked into the gameplay much. I'm kind of sort of getting back into games a little bit here and there. But every time I sit down and play a game, I realize there's another house project that I could be doing, so I usually don't stick around too long. Is it like a co-op type deal, or is it more like a just deathmatch?
No, it's
Blow some stress off.
PvE. It's PvE co-op, so you're pretty much in a game with 3 other guys, and you're just
Well,
fighting
that sounds like a
bugs.
sausage fest.
Well, it could be girls too, but the cool thing is you can switch up the voices to change every time you die. So every time you spawn in, it's like you're a new person.
Oh, really?
Because you're supposed to be like this expendable soldier just fighting war for managed democracy.
Yeah.
And it's like this super overplayed, like patriotic fucking shit, like Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And it's just really hilarious.
That sounds halfway entertaining, I suppose.
But yeah, you just complete objectives, kill bugs, kill bots. We're waiting for the squids to come in. Those are gonna be fucked. They're called the Illuminate.
Okay.
They're like some aliens with super ancient technology that's a lot more powerful than ours. So it's gonna be different.
So that just mean you die more, or what?
Yeah, we'll probably die a lot more. But
Well,
so here's a cool thing that we did in the game recently. They gave us a mission to capture this planet, and we get these cool new anti-tank mines that we can use against our enemy. And the other side was, if you can liberate this planet, you save the kids that are trapped in this hospital.
okay.
And you're doing the service of a good favor. So everyone decided to go save the kids. And keep in mind, the backstory for the anti-tank mines. We've been trying to get them for like 2 months now. But we just keep failing. So they gave us this mission to be like, you can go get the mines, or you can just go save the kids virtually in a game for no reason. And we all decided to go save the kids. So the developers of the game donated like over $4,000 to Save a Kid Foundation or something like that.
No shit.
Yeah,
Huh. That's pretty neat.
I thought that was pretty cool. And the game's only run by like 8 people right now, so it's
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's pretty
They
small.
weren't expecting the game to be this big when it dropped.
Yeah, I bet.
Because the first game that came out, their max player base was like 4,000 to 8,000, and now like our peak player base was over 400,000, but now it's like dropping back to like 40,000 players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people are getting
Yeah.
bored. I still like it. I think it's a great game. Game of the year
Is it-
potential.
No, I know the Steam summer sale's going on right now. Is that on sale?
Let me check.
I
Because it's normally
I've-
$40, which I think is a hell of a deal. And they don't milk you for monetization. So no, it's not on sale right now, which makes sense. It's a new game that came out this year.
Sure, yeah.
It came out in February, and but it's $39.99, which I think is pretty respectable, given that a lot of AAA title games are charging $80 to $90, which
Yeah,
I
it's not
think
bad
is
at all.
insane. And the cool thing is their monetization system. The only thing you can purchase is super credits. And the cool part is you can earn super credits just by finding them in the game.
Okay.
In the what the super credits get you is stuff in the superstore. So that's like armors, which is what they only have in the superstore right now. And then war bonds, which are like the battle pass, but they have no
Okay.
time limit. You can buy them whenever and earn them whenever with no
Really?
limit. So there's no like fear of missing out. You can still try these weapons if you want without paying. You just have to kind of grind a little more.
Yeah.
But
See,
the war
I like
bonds
that idea.
themselves are only $10, which I think is also not bad.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I purchased a couple.
Did you?
Yeah, they're fun. That's how you get the new weapons, and the weapons are really useful for fighting the enemies. The balance in the game is a little wonky right now.
As in the enemies are too difficult, or
No, the enemies aren't too difficult. It's just like they got this developer that keeps nerfing good weapons into the ground. So like instead of like buffing weapons that are bad, they're taking the weapons that are heavily picked the most and nerfing them.
to make you use the bad weapons?
Yeah. Well, I feel like they should just buff everything up. And if everything's buffed up and we're all powerful, we'll get more stuff done. And we won't be complaining. I'm not really complaining. I can still finish missions and contribute to the war effort. But a lot of
Yeah.
people fucking complain about the balance of the game's not right, which I can see why. Some weapons are straight fucking trash for the hardest difficulty. And the hardest difficulty is like how you get the most contribution to the war effort.
Right.
But it
Rachel
also
said-
taxes my computer a lot. Like they're
Does it?
using an outdated engine that hasn't had updates in years. So that's something going for it. They have root level anti-cheat, which I don't really like, but
So I'll quit cheating.
Yeah, people don't cheat on this game. Don't cheat on this game. That's one thing. I'm not really a cheater, but I didn't really know what root level anti-cheat was until I kind of looked it up, and it's kind of weird. They got like full access to everything, and I didn't realize it till after I downloaded it.
So Rachel said she's stuck on playing Fork and Sausage, which I have no idea what Fork and Sausage is. I'll be honest.
Fork and sausage.
I mean, you could play on words and take that a couple different directions, but I'll leave it alone. Hey, Debs. Thanks for stopping by. I've been playing, so I'm way behind the times. Borderlands 2 is on sale on Steam for like $5 or something like a year ago. So I'm kind of working my way through that a little bit. It's fun so far. I mean, it's there's a learning process to figuring out which weapons manufacturer, whatever, has which characteristics and stuff. But I'm getting sorted out, I think. Unfortunately, I don't have time to sit down and just like grind it for, a couple weeks at a time. So I'll play it for a few days, get it figured out, and then I'll sit for a month and not play and come back and like, wait, what is this gun do again? And then I picked up. I've never played Dragon's Age, but Dragon's Age, the franchise, was on sale stupid cheap the other day, so I picked that up. And I have a list of games that I've bought in the last year that's way too long. I haven't played most of them. So I'd say I've got some work to do, but I have not exactly the opposite. I need to not work so I can catch up on all the silly games that I've downloaded in the way. And that
I know
doesn't
there's
take
a lot
into
of games on sale right now. Some cool ones, expensive games that are normally like $60. They're like $3
they're
right now.
marked down like pretty hardcore.
I bet you all these AAA devs are feeling the heat from some of these smaller titled games that are coming out this year. Like
Yeah, you get
X
these.
Defiant that came out, it's completely free and it looks fun as hell. I'm gonna get it, and it's got a completely free game.
It's awesome. Like, my kid's 9, so he was asking me the other day because he's starting to play games occasionally here and there, and he's like, "Why are all these games free, but you have to pay for stuff like once you start playing them?"
Yeah, that's
Like
the thing.
that's how they sucker you in, bud. You start playing and having fun, and then you
X
start spending
Defiant's
money.
trying to do a good job on it not being like a whole ton of gotchas, but like with it being a free game, obviously, if you want to get further and support the developers, you can give them a little bit of cash to get your character going.
Yeah.
But I think there's still ways that like you don't have to completely buy stuff. You can still play for free.
Oh yeah. It drives me crazy. The games are like you can play for free and you can grind, but you're never going to be any good unless you start dropping a bunch of money.
That's what I like about BeamNG Drive. You just pay I think it's like 20 something dollars, and there's no paid DLCs. Every mod is free, everything is free, and every update is free, and they're always coming out with new stuff. And BeamNG is cool because it's like an all-in-one game.
Okay.
If you like cars.
So Rachel said, "Fork and sausage. You're a sausage, and you move through an obstacle course to get impaled on a fork." Deb said, "You'd be better off hiding the sausage than getting forked. Isn't the whole point to get forked by the sausage?" Oh wait, that's a different game. Sorry, ladies. It's late. I marked this stream as not for people under 18, so we can say whatever we want, right? That's how this works. So, speaking of work I need to do, Ian, the BioCube still needs to be resealed. So I still have a 32-gallon fruit can full of salt water and rock. It's been just kind of cooking for, what is
Let
it, a
it
year
cook.
now?
That's gonna be the most well-aged live rock. You're gonna have no ugly phase.
Oh my God. Right now, so I have to fix one of the white LEDs went out and they're wired in series. So none of the white LEDs come on right now. So it's just the blues and the UVs. So if I look into the tote, it's the walls are just coated in red slime algae,
Oh no.
which is an easy fix. I just have to, seal the BioCube and then I'll take a brush to the rock quick and throw the rock in and call it good. The light itself is an easy fix, but just a matter of actually getting it done. Mark says it depends on which end of the sausage you're on.
Yeah, I'm getting a shipment of inverts on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, where'd you get them from?
Reefcleaners.com.
That's the only place to get them from. Good answer. Well, it used to be the only place. Well, and by only place, I
Dude,
mean the
their
best price.
prices are so good compared to anybody else. And the fact that they only do inverts, no fish, makes me feel a hell of a lot better knowing I'm not transferring in a bunch of disease from fish.
Yeah,
Because
they have it figured out and dialed in, man. What all did you order?
I got their 50-gallon pack. It's like 44 dwarf cerith snails, a bunch of Nasarius and hermit crabs, and some turbo snails, emerald crabs, 2 emerald crabs.
Okay.
Yeah, just the cleaner pack. I'm gonna spread them between the frag tank and the display.
Craig says he likes to be on the big side of the sausage.
And I also picked up a blue porcelain crab as a kind of like a showy invert.
Huh.
They don't really
familiar with
clean.
the blue porcelain crab at all.
They're like a filter feeder, like a bamboo shrimp. They just got their
Okay.
fans and they sit in the current and wave their fannies.
Oh, cool. They have macroalgaes.
They have a
Looks like
lot
it.
of stuff. It's pretty
Their
cool.
macros are out of stock.
Yeah, a lot of macroalgae out of stock, but their inverts, they got a lot of stuff in.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now how often do you like replenish your cleanup crews and your saltwater tanks, I guess?
So the tank is turning 2 years in September. So I'd say about, this is the second time I'm buying a shipment of inverts. So about a year and a half.
Rachel asked if you said fannies because that means something else in the UK.
Yes, I did. They're waving their fannies.
So I remember, I think, it's been years since I bought a cleanup crew, but when I had my BioCube set up, this is probably 2015, 16, I got one of the reef cleaners packs that had like some red leg hermits, some ceriths, some, let's say, neorites, Yeah, it's just a cool. I mean, they just kind of give you some great options, and they do most of the work for you. And
Yeah, that's what I liked. Like they had a bunch of different options if you just wanted an only snail pack or an only hermit crab pack, or if you wanted like a mix. Um, and they have it like all listed out to what tank size you have, or what are the dimensions. And I just kind of went with how many gallons I have
yeah, they make it
total.
stupid easy. It is ridiculously easy to get set up through them.
And they're quick with emails because I let them know that my temperatures are going to be a little high. So if I needed to upgrade to the next day, I could, but they let me know that it should be fine.
Oh, really? That's awesome. So now I want to say when I got my stuff from them, they shipped it all dry with just like like a moist
That's what
towel in
I'm
the
thinking they're going to
bag.
do because that's the most easiest way to ship inverts like that, except for the crabs and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the emerald crabs and porcelain crab can.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think that those would have to be kept in water, but they're the professionals, so see what they do, I suppose.
We'll see. I'm not going to do a review or unboxing or anything. I'm just trying to get some inverts. I don't. I know that they have been around a long time and they do good.
It seems like Reef Cleaners and like Marco Rocks has been around forever. They're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah. Did you see that Marco Rocks is, or I don't know if it was Marco, but they came out with a purple rock now.
Yeah, I saw. I was watching. I think Bulk Reef Supply there since they're like redoing the 52-week series. I think I saw the purple rock on there. Like,
Dude, don't eat. Bulk Reef Supplies doing some dirty stuff right now.
are they?
Yeah. They completely dropped GHL and Hydros
Why?
because their full aperture owned, which owns Ecotech, AI, and Neptune Apex. And
Yeah.
they don't want competitor controllers on their uh, sites
That's
anymore. So they
just
like
going to happen.
discounted everything hella cheap, and everybody was just buying everything, and they're discontinuing everything.
Well,
Hydros, GHL.
huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting move.
It's what happens when you get bought out by corporate companies,
Oh
like big
shit.
corporate companies. Aperture is a huge company. Like Neptune Apex, Ecotech, AI. They're not built the same. They're not made by the same people anymore. They're not
Huh.
being serviced by the same customer service people anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
That's
they are, but it's the
that kind of
review.
happened to a bunch of like four-wheel drive, like aftermarket parts companies for like Jeeps and Toyotas and stuff. There used to be a lot more companies, and then a couple kind of just like conglomerate type deals like came in and just bought them up, and they just shut them down.
Yeah, I think Donut and Hoonigan's going through that right now too.
Really,
hmm
it's
Hurt
like
left Hoonigan because he didn't feel like he's working for the same company anymore, and then a couple of guys from Donut left Donut because they don't have the creativity input as they used to.
it's a
They
shame.
got
Just like these huge companies come in with a bunch of money and just ruin the companies, and it kind of like it after that. Like since there's fewer companies in the market, it kind of just puts a not like a halt, but just slows down like just kind of ingenuity and new products and stuff because there's only a couple competitors anymore.
I think it also pushes these smaller guys to be more innovative and then um, be better competition to what's out there. Like Hydros is coming out with a lot of cool new stuff, and it looks very reliable and powerful. for what
Really?
it's able to do. I mean, everything they're coming out with is IP65, unless it's like something with an outlet, like their power bars. Those obviously can't be IP65, but everything else
Right.
is.
Huh.
And not a lot of controllers are trying to do that.
Step in the right direction, then. So now did you have you're running one of the blades on your tank, right?
Yep, I am running blades. I have some AI stuff.
How do
They're
you like the
okay.
blades?
They're good. I mean, you got 3 color channels to play with: blue, royal blue, and cool white. That's it. And that's for the grow. There's 3 versions for saltwater. No, 2 versions for saltwater, then a
So
refugium, and the freshwater. But there's a grow and a glow, which has
so one
UV, royal blue, and violet.
so one's a grower and one's a shower.
Yeah, one gives you that like eye bursting, mind blowing blue purple pop, and the other one gives a more daylight spectrum, which I prefer. I prefer the grow. Get that blue
Crazy.
shit out of my eyes. Get that shit out of my eyes.
It's crazy. Like I mean, like freshwater planted lights have kind of come along quite a ways, and it's funny. It's more interesting to see how saltwater lights have developed over the years. Like
I feel like
everybody,
freshwater lights are a lot behind.
oh yeah, it's like leaps and bounds.
Like they're
I mean,
just now like a lot of companies are just now figuring out that LEDs are controllable. But it's like, guys, these have been around for like over 10 years now.
oh yeah, I built the light on my BioCube. I built 10 years ago now, and now you don't have to build it yourself to get controllability.
Yeah.
And fucking back in the day, it was just about. I mean, people were running metal halides or metal halide combined with like VHOs. You know, that's what I ran on my 75. And then they started coming out with more and more LEDs, and they had like the Canons, and Kessel started pushing products out, and then Hydra got into it, and AI, and it just blew up quick. And there's all kinds of different technology. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, freshwater's like, here's your light. Good luck.
Yep. You get a blue channel and a white channel. Or sometimes they give you like the ones that are they're not even controllable. You could just control what times they turn on, turn
Yeah,
off.
it's on or it's off. Craig said he hit 2.5 thousand. Congrats, Craig. That is pretty awesome.
But I mean, higher tech stuff is easier to do if you only have one tank. Mike over here with a whole fish room, it is going to be difficult to try and put controllable LEDs and monitors and controllers on everything. But
Oh yeah, screw it.
if you
That's
just
why
have
this.
like one display tank, um, it's easier to do
Yeah.
because you're just focusing your time and your energy, your money onto that one display tank.
So I knew a guy. He's not in fish anymore. He was a saltwater guy, but he had 3 displays. He had like a for the Marine Land 300 double deep or
Ooh.
DD or whatever the hell it was, and then he had I want to say he had a 90 across from that and a 90 upstairs, but they were all plumbed together into a 150-gallon sump. Um, so it's kind of interesting, like because he'd have the same system with tanks completely isolated that he could test different lights on and see, like he could take a coral out of one, split it, and put it into another one and see which one grew it faster based on the lighting because they all had the same nutrients and water volume and everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's a risky business combining 3 tanks into one system, but
You saw I have a 20-gallon plumbed into the water box now.
Nope, I haven't seen that. I haven't been keeping up with damn near anybody in Fish Fam, to be honest.
To be fair, I haven't posted a video in months.
Well, neither have I.
Probably show you guys, give you a little walkthrough what's going on.
Let's take a look, see what's going on.
Let me get on my phone here. I'm gonna drop out of the computer.
All right. Boom. He gone. I don't know, other than Ian and I, there's 11 of you guys in chat, probably counting Ian. I don't know how many of you guys are into salty stuff, but we're going to check out Ian's salty stuff. Sometimes it's fun to just look at pretty colors. We'll see what he's got going on. He comes back, because my saltwater stuff is nothing to look at right now. In fact, it's literally a trash can. It's about one electrical problem short of just being called a dumpster fire, I think. It is almost to that point. It is not in great shape. I just need to fix the BioCube, get that sealed up, and then we'll be all better. No, I don't know what it is. Well, Ian's switching over. So he can show us his toys. So I get hair algae in some of the tanks down here in the fish room. But this one tank with the rainbow fish up here is the only one that gets this reddish algae. And I don't know why. There is a small window up there. But this tank here is exposed to it as well. And it doesn't get this red algae. There's something with the sand. I don't know. It's not bad. It's literally just a tank set up for breeding, so I don't mind it too much. I like to at least keep the front glass clean so that I can show people occasionally. It is. Sometimes it can be tough as shit. Oh, Ian's back. Get off the ladder. Let's see. Oops. Oh, I double clicked it. Oh, my bad. We'll go solo so we can see what we're looking at. Can't hear you, Ian. You're back, but I can't hear you.
Let's see. Is my audio working?
All right, now we can hear you.
Okay. I haven't cleaned the glass in about a week, so it's a little dirty.
Not too bad.
The lights were off, so everything was closed up.
Out of the saltwater game for a while, so I don't recognize names of corals anymore.
So this is a Cinerina lacrymalis. This is a meat coral. He covers that whole area where there's no algae
Okay.
in the day. He's pretty big. That's a grafted Montipora capricornus, so the big plating guys.
Yeah. So are the grafted corals still kind of a big deal?
Oh yeah, those are like the big rage right now.
Huh.
That's the OG from like 12 years ago. So it's been in the hobby a long time. I have a red uh, Chalice. I forget the genus on that one. That's a branching Cyphastria underneath the milk of Stylo and some Seriatopora, bird's nest, another Chalice that I've grown from a frag. This is a Lithophyllon. I'm proud of this coral. I saved it from about a half-inch bleached out piece.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a plate coral in the Fungia family.
Okay. I tried a plate coral once, and I didn't have very good luck with it. I haven't had a saltwater tank to try it again for a while, so someday.
I didn't even know what it was. I thought it was this little bleached out piece of coral on a plug,
Okay.
and I saved them. It was attached to a leather coral that I bought. That's another plate coral. That's a Dioceras plate. They're a little different. These are easier to frag and a little easier to keep. It's really important to know what genus you are keeping because that will play into their care requirements. Some of them are
Okay.
difficult. Then this is a Homophilia bauerbanki from Australia. That was a small little single head when I got it. Now it's got multiple heads around it and it's just continuing growing.
How long have you had that one?
I've had this guy for over a year. All these corals are over a year old now.
Okay.
Like, guy, he's about 18 months old. He's about 13 months old. He's about a year old. That's the newest piece right there. That guy and that guy. Or I did get them this year, so they're a few months old. That's
Now
a red. What's
the
that?
what's the going price on like a grafted Monophora now?
I got him for $40.
Too bad.
No. And this is a very special coral that not a people have. A lot of people have. It's a small polyp alveopora.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got so this Monty is like encroaching on these villas and starting to take them out. And he's also starting to fight this other Monty in the back, which is a digitata. They're different species, but they don't play well together.
Not getting along very well, huh?
Now, that long, sus-looking dude in the back is not a Goni, but a Gorgonian.
Okay.
And behind that is a Green Goblin and Acrophora. And
That
then
looks cool.
I have 3 Acroporas. It's a Acropora Young Eye, the classic Kyrie Green Slimer or whatever it's called. And
Yeah.
then a Battle Coals Space Laser, which is the purple guy. And that one is a Aqua SD Cactus Acro. The names, I don't know the species too much on them, so I just go by their trade name.
Right. I think that's about most of what you can do in saltwater anymore these days.
Yeah, I mean, acros are really tough to identify as small frags for the species. I mean, the genus I can get. If you can get the genus, thumbs up in my book. That's
No shit.
And that's a really cool stylo. It's like got a green base with teal polyps.
Okay.
That's about it.
Now, are you familiar? There was a. It's funny how certain corals be really popular in some areas and really hard to get in others. There was a guy out here years ago that had an Oregon tort, and he was like the only person within like 2 or 3 states that had one at the time.
Man, that is a coral I've been trying to find, but it's super popular and it's expensive right now. Like it's been around a while. It's one of those corals that you'd think would come down in price, but it really hasn't. It's one of those legacy corals that I think is just going to be around forever. It's still a man that
Yeah,
they
it's,
have
it's
fine.
like Tubbs Blue Zoas, where like everybody and their brother had them out here, and like you could hardly give them away. And like other places, they were paying like insane prices per polyp 10 years ago.
Yeah, it gets pretty nuts. This coral I got from a pretty small for from a buddy who lives here. He also got one. He's a bit of a stylo nut. He doesn't care for the names, but he gets the cool stuff and we trade often.
Yeah.
And over here is the frag tank. I gotta turn the lighting down. We're not liking it. They're getting a little bleachy, but
Yeah, a little bit.
some leathers in there. Lobo. Have to dose. Yep, me too, buddy. I'm dosing cow floss all night long. By the way, this is labeled cow, so people don't touch it. Don't touch cow flosser. It's not good for you.
It's,
But that's my candy cane that I've had for over 3 years.
that's
Very
awesome.
many other leathers in there. Like I said, everything's kind of closed up in a sleep. I haven't cleaned this. Look at all the pods.
Oh yeah.
All those little. So I haven't. There's no fish in here. I bought a tank that was quarantined for 6 weeks in copper. I put them in this tank, and then all my fish got it, and a lot of them died.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed about that.
Yeah, that's no good.
And I went through a hell trying to fix it too. Like I don't know if I think all my lights are dead. I gotta charge them. Yeah, that's no good. No one wants to strobe.
So that tank is plumbed into the water box.
Yeah. So this is the drain. It's just a single drain. Boom, boom. And then this is the return. It comes up from the sump down here, and it's got a return pump that I had to make a manifold with a couple valves so I could put a UV sterilizer because of the ick. That's the light of the UV sterilizer. But all my lights are dead, kind of. Oh, look at that skimmer! Ooh.
Gross. I can smell that from here. What skimmer is that?
That's the Simplicity 120. It's a one that I got for free from the guy that gave me the stylo. He saw I didn't have a
Okay.
skimmer, and he was like, "Yo, you want this skimmer for free?" I was just like, "Yo, why not?"
Well,
A little
looks
bit,
like it's working.
but it chugs along for sure. But I had to make this crazy, insane, complicated ass manifold to put a UV sterilizer in here. So
Well, is it working at least?
it's working. So the return pump's down there, turns up there, elbow, union, and with a T, is the gate valve that feeds the flow rate to the sterilizer. This is a flow meter that tells me the gallons per minute or per hour moving through the pipe from hydros. So I can just look at my
Okay.
phone, see what the gallon per hour is, so that I know I'm getting the proper sterilization for pathogens.
Right.
For ick and stuff, it needs to be a proper slow flow to sterilize DNA. And that's the thing. We're not killing the pathogens. We're just sterilizing the DNA so that they can't reproduce. That's the thing. This is not like an eradication method. This is my management. And feeding a high quality diet and keeping the water quality clean hopefully should keep my fish healthy
Right.
without completely take everything out. But
So other than calc, what are you dosing?
calc,
That's it.
that's it. Yeah. I was doing all three. I ran out and I stopped. Holes have been fine. I haven't really had a feeling that in a long time. But doing what I'm doing after that's good. pH is 0.2 to 8.3 in the day. So I'm not complaining there.
Right.
Obviously, I can support stony coral. Uh, I do have powdered alpha reef that I haven't done anything with. Brand new bottle. I'm thinking about. I just don't want to set up another doser. I have the doser.
Yeah.
I don't want to calibrate it.
I've thought about setting up a doser for the 125 to dose my ferts for the planted tank. I mean, any more of these days you can get them. I mean, you get like the G-Bow or whatever it is, like a 3-head doser for, I mean, new even 75, $80.
Mm-hmm. You certainly can. I don't know if I would a J-Bow doser. I see a lot of Reddit posts or forum posts that sticking on sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, or they just leak out of their head, which is not.
Really.
I like
I've honestly
for a
thought
little.
about whenever I get the BioCube resealed, I may just do like just a Zoa type garden in it and just do like a high rock work on the back and just throw Zoas all over the whole damn thing.
You could make the most dynamic tank with because of there's like unlimited color patterns, color palette. They're
Oh yeah.
insane.
It's pretty crazy the variety that's out there anymore these days. Like seriously insane. I mean, you can drop insane money on it too. I mean, that's kind of the way it's always been with corals to begin with. I remember when like the Walt Disney Acros first came out, the prices that people were paying for fingernail sizes of Walt Disney Acro blew my mind.
This is the most rare coral right here.
The cat,
Yeah,
one of a kind. You can't duplicate that one.
you can't pull this out of a reef.
So I did see, it might have been a couple months ago now, that it looks like they're fighting to lift the ban on some of the stuff out of Hawaii.
It's all hearsay right now. Nothing's actually been approved yet.
Really?
I've been keeping toes and eyes on that thing for years. every month I'm checking reef builders and different articles to see if there's
Yeah.
a lot of it's just the same.
Not really actually making any progress on it though.
Yeah. Like they say they're going to, nothing ever comes of it.
Well, that's a bummer. So I want to see $20 yellow tang prices again instead of 400.
You could get them with shipping. I think you can get them for around 3, but I think that's the thing right now.
For how much?
Toyota self retail. Let me check. 200.
It's better than they were.
But you still have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
Let me check. Okay, no, they went down. So 165 for a Hawaiian yellow tang, captive bred.
Well, it's moving the right direction then.
And that's for small, 1.25 inches.
Yeah.
And I need and they're damn near transparent. You don't even think it's gonna be a yellow tang.
Right.
I've seen the captive bred adult yellow tangs, and they look just as good as the wild one. There's some that come out with deformities, that don't really come out till later on, and that's kind of stuff that we always see freshwater, either like a misshapen or I've seen them where they're missing scalpel.
They're just missing a scalpel entirely.
Yeah, they're just entirely missing a scalpel on one side. That's just one of those deformities. But they're still just as yellow, just as close to any yellow tank.
Yeah.
Granted, he might be able to defend himself as much. Maybe I wouldn't put him in a Achilles and Powder Blues and stuff, but a yellow tang and 5 or a 120 would be perfect. Good boss.
I got pretty lucky, I guess. This was over 10 years ago now, but I had 2 yellow tangs and a 75. I paid $20 for the pair, and I never had any problems with either one of them.
Yeah. Man, I miss those days. I was bitching because fucking 30 to $50.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I'm just like, and the fish aren't any healthier. A lot of the times they're more sickly.
Well, it's just like that. It's kind of similar to what I've seen in like freshwater shrimp. Like the tangs that used to be cheap are now super expensive, and the tangs that used to be expensive are getting cheap. Like freshwater shrimp, it's kind of the same thing. Like cherry shrimp used to be, a dime a dozen, and now these days cherry shrimp. I've seen people selling cherry shrimp for $4 or $5 a piece, easy. I'm like, you're out of your mind. There's just much more of a demand for them, I guess, that people can get away with higher prices.
Well, Biota, they're like trying to do something cool. Everything they're producing is captive bred. It's not coming from the ocean. It's been conditioned for aquarium. And they're coming out with a lot of diverse stuff. Like they've got the Regal, a gold-lined rabbitfish, a gold flake, majestic angel, the multi-bar angel, cleaner wrasse, captive bred. There's got other stuff that was in here. Ooh, Bergias, $75. Ooh, those are expensive.
See you, Debs.
Horses.
Good at work.
I'm a big angelfish.
I had is a Coral Beauty, the purple and orange one, the small dwarf.
Yeah.
Yep, I had one of those in my 75. I tried one of the dwarf flame angels initially, but didn't have good luck with it, and I got the Coral Beauty instead. And I had that until I got rid of the 75. It did pretty well for a long time. I never kept any of the. I mean, obviously all I had was the 75, so I never got into any of the bigger angels.
Yeah. I've got the Atlantic Pygmy Angel, where it's the Centropike guy, the small purple yellow fish.
Okay, yeah.
But they're cool. I like them. Don't really bother with the coral. I see them pick on the acros here and there, but worth it for that little fish.
Yeah, I never had a problem with the one that I had, I guess, but it's what do they say? Reef safe with caution.
With caution.
So it depends on how cautious. I mean, it says with caution. Like you can't really be cautious. You either put it in the tank or not, and you just hope for the best. Hope for the best, really. You don't know what you're going to be cautious about.
Well, you kind of, I think it plays a part in like what fish it is and what coral they like to eat. You know, some angels really eat, so might just, but some I've heard stories that once they get a taste for coral, they just go after everything. But there's some only have specific taste for coral. Some people just make the sacrifice of not eating that coral anymore for that fish.
Yeah.
It depends if you like the fish more than the coral.
Well, it's a lot easier to take a coral out of a tank than take a fish out of a tank.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know, honestly, like that BioCube is 29 gallons. I don't even know if I mean, there's fish that would obviously fit in it. I don't know if I'll add any fish to it or not. I might just do some inverts and a big Zoa garden or something stupid simple.
Dude, I saw this nano tank and I thought it was wild. There was a juvenile of water in a 20-gallon, and the guy's showing it off like it's the fucking shits.
How'd that go over for him?
Dude, the comments were nuts. They were like, bro, get that fish out of there. I'm not taking him seriously. Like,
I bet it did not go well for him.
and if you guys don't know what an imperator angelfish is, they get like over a foot long. They're, it's like keeping an Oscar in.
Small.
Even as a baby, they're cute. They have their blue stripes and swirls, but that's a fish that needs a lot of swim space.
Right. And I mean, it seems like saltwater fish in general, Like when it comes to like swim space, they need for the most part, they need more than a freshwater fish of the same, like a similar size.
Yeah.
So you
I
think
would
about
agree.
it,
They need a lot
these are
more
fish that roam entire reefs, not just live under a single branch in a river.
Yeah, they're fighting ocean current. You know, they're using a lot more energy, so keeping
Right.
them cramped up in a small tank where they're not able to use that energy. You can see why a lot of um, aquariums, public aquariums, which are full of obese fish because they're not working them out enough and overfeeding. Like we can't replace ocean current. We can pump pumps we want, but we can replace.
How are speaking of pumps and currents, how are those Neros holding up?
My oldest one finally bit the dust. The new
How old
one's
was that
working
one?
good. 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. Now is that like no, those have like a wet side, dry side, like an MP10 or something, right?
No, everything stays in the water. Pump comes out
Oh,
from the tank, or the pump comes out from the tank.
okay.
The thing is, I never run that pump more than 60, 70% for a couple hours at a time, planned in the
Okay.
schedule. So I don't see how it could have burned itself out in that short of time.
Right.
Near
I'd imagine they
$200.
probably only have like a 1 year warranty or something.
Yeah, no, they're not going to cover it. So that's why I just was just like, fuck you. I'm not even. They were like, well, you can send it in and pay for the replacement part and pay for shipping. I was like, no, I'm just gonna go buy a Jabo.
Yeah.
At least I know if I just pay the 50 whatever bucks for a Jabo, it might crap out in a year. It might crap out in 4 years. I've seen them be
But
really reliable. Like
it's
I've
only
had my
$50 to
Jabo.
replace it.
Yeah, it's only $50, not 200. That's for the smallest size of a Nero, 200.
Yeah, the price is pretty crazy on them. I mean, it's super, super cool pumps, but the price is pretty crazy. It's like,
Well,
did the gyres ever catch on?
the
'Cause I thought they
gyres
were
are
super
very
cool.
popular, but hear me out on the Jabo. So AI and Jabo are the only two companies that have the rights to that style of pump
Okay.
that are being manufactured in China.
So,
Like,
Uh,
so you've seen how the Neros are. Actually, I'll grab it.
while you're grabbing that, Jeff and AGZ and Craig are talking about fish. Craig mentioned that mandarins are a bastard to get to eat in Australia. I think they're kind of a bastard to get to eat anywhere. But I've never kept a mandarin myself, but I've never really heard a ton of good success stories unless you're dumping a shitload of pods in the tank either.
Don't you know my Mandarin, who's almost a year and a half old in my care, and I've never put a single bottle of pods into my reef tank?
Yeah.
All he eats is what naturally grows and the pellets and frozen food. Let's see. Okay.
Are aquaculture mandarins a lot more, readily available now?
Yeah, you can buy them online from Biota, straight from Biota, shipped to your door.
So, Biota's producing a ton of stuff now, which is super cool.
But so here's a Nero. Let me take this off. Very small form factor pump. Like that's it. But these guys and Jabo are the only guys manufacturing and selling these pumps to us that are like this, where it's the motor and everything's inside, and the impeller and housing is all one piece, and it
Okay.
just goes in there. This one's broken, but yeah, can move 2,000 gallons per hour, and super small. It's got these magnets that go on the one on the outside, one on the inside, and you can it doesn't have a lot of control, but you can point it down a little bit,
Right.
point it up. But yeah, they're okay for $200. I don't think the reliability is there, and you could put your money into something else.
I
That's
believe
it.
it. When he's talking about the Nero, which is is that AI pump?
Yeah,
Or is it
aqua
That's what I thought.
illumination, and they're DC powered, Bluetooth control, straight to your phone, super easy peasy. The app is very easy to control. There's really no gimmicks to it, but I just had too many pump stops with that one after about 2 years, and
So,
I just kept trying to clean it, fix it, and it just kept stopping. It wouldn't
Hmm.
do its job. And that's
I
all I
still
needed to
have,
do is just do its job.
right? I still use some old school. They're probably 15, maybe even older than that, like 15 to 20-year-old, the Corellias. It's like everybody used to run the Corellia style pumps, which I don't even know if Corellia's making power heads like that anymore.
Um, I think they are still making power heads,
Looks like it.
but yeah, I do have a gyro pump as well. It works good. I like it. I do have to
So,
clean it a little more often than a Nero or a regular style power head, but
sure.
they work good. I like that I can do a forward and reverse on them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if like the actual flow pattern of them makes much of a difference, but it's a cool pump. It was
Yeah, they
when
do
it came.
provide that like flat linear pattern that just goes around the tank and provides constant aeration through everything. So I think they're pretty good.
Remember when it first came out? It's probably they've been out for almost 10 years now. I think they first came out by 2015 or so.
And they still have that patent on them by MaxBet.
Do they?
Yep. So all the
Well,
companies that are coming out with them, they have to get like teamed up with MaxSpec to use the pump.
yeah. June asked what pump he recommends.
The J-Bow SLW, and pick whatever gallon per hour size is matched to your tank. If you do a little bit overboard, just dial back the percentage a little bit. If you pick one that's bigger for your tank, just turn it down. That's the cool thing about the SLWs. They're controllable. You can do the pulse, or you can just do constant or random, whatever. It does all that simple, all on a little button thing. So
Now I know like randomization of flow used to be like a super big thing in reefs. Is that still like a big emphasis or?
not really. Random flow is important, but I think just getting general aeration to the corals and your inhabitants is important. You want to make sure the water's not stagnant in certain spots. And if it is, then when you're doing your maintenance, take another power head or that same power head, just pop it off the wall and jet the dead spots so that
Yeah,
there's no debris collecting in dead corners or underneath the rock and stuff.
yeah,
But the aeration in the tank is important. You don't really just want it hitting one side all the time, but if it does, it's not a big deal. You'll just see the corals as they grow. They're growing with the flow, and
hmm,
that's a look you want. That's a look you want. But they kind of want that random flow from being hit from all sides. So
yeah.
having like
Great.
instead of one giant pump in a corner, you could do like two or three smaller pumps in different corners, pointed in different directions, and they like go off in different times of different percentages of the day.
Right. I'm pretty positive they don't make them anymore. But sea swirl used to be a thing for your return lines. It would actually like the output itself would rotate just with the current. Just the water flow would cause it to rotate back and forth and move the direction of the current inside your tank.
And a lot of the pumps are super small footprint these days. They're not big clunky things. You can hide them very easily behind stuff and in the corner somewhere where they're not like a massive eyesore.
Right. They're getting way smaller now. Plus, now that everything's controllable with DC pumps, it's a game changer.
I still think it's crazy the amount of companies that are using AC pumps in freshwater.
I, because freshwater people, generally speaking, are cheap and don't want to spend the money.
But an AC pump at the same power level is around the same price as a DC pump.
You know? But it's complicated. Freshwater people don't want to be confused.
But they're so simple. I love them. I mean, AC is nice, but they're loud, power hungry, clunky machines. They work. They're efficient, not efficient, but reliable pumps. Like
Right. I have a I have one of the Corellia pumps up on the 125 right now, and sometimes occasionally it'll just decide to run in reverse.
yeah, I've seen that too with those AC pumps where they just start going the opposite direction.
It just it for whatever reason it swaps polarity. I'm like, why is it sucking water up against the wall right now? Just, so. Craig said
And
he's heading to town. Catch you later, Craig. Take
have
care.
a good one, Craig.
So,
Yeah, I got pretty burned when I lost a lot of fish. So I lost the clownfish I got from Shanna. Sorry, Shanna, if you see this, forgive me.
I haven't seen Shanna in forever.
But I feel really bad. I lost my Blenny that I've had for over 3 years, and I lost my possum wrasse.
Just from
I,
the egg in that tank.
every fish got ick in that tank. Everything got covered. The guys I have that survived right now, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. And I think what it was, because I looked at the times of my heaters and pH because I wanted to make sure nothing malfunctioned. And it looks like something did malfunction, and it was the heater.
Really.
hmm
It was
So it didn't like kick on. Well, that's the thing; it didn't kick on. So the temperature dropped to like 74 for a few hours, and then it kicked back on. I have it programmed to turn back on at 77.
hmm,
Soon as it dips above 77, it turns off, and once it gets back below 77, it turns back on. Yeah, the possum's gone. Oh, and the new Tang that I bought, that he died too.
What kind of tang was that?
It was a Scopaz. He was pretty chunky. I thought when I put him in my tank, I was like, dang, he's a little big for this. And I was like thinking, like, man, I now gotta get an upgrade. I was like all excited. It's like, yeah, now I got an excuse to get an upgraded saltwater tank.
What size tank would you go to if you upgraded?
75. Proper 40-gallon breeder sump. Make it easy.
One, I have to reseal this biocube, which I will do eventually. I might drill the back of it and put a sump under it so I can fit a skimmer in there.
Yeah, I've already got a 40 breeder sump that I'm not using. I just need a stand and a 75 and some lighting, swap over my protein skimmer, all my hydros gear, and I'm done.
I would say that protein skimmer's sized big enough that it could probably run twice the tank that you're running it on right now.
Yep. It's meant for a 120 on the small end.
It looks pretty big.
Tamini's still kicking it strong. My Tamini's still kicking it strong. I thought he was going to go. He'd come up. He got pretty spotty, but he pushed through. The angelfish pushed through. The Royal Grama pushed through. The original clownfish that's almost 4 years old is, no. Yeah, about 4. Still going. And the Royal Grama. No, I already said the Royal Grama. Mandarin's still here.
Okay. I had a guy I knew that had probably about a 125 roughly, and he had a heater that stuck on and the tank got up to like 90 degrees, and the only 2 fish that survived were a pair of clownfish, so we called them 90-degree clowns from it then on. So it's pretty toasty water.
Yeah, I think so that minor temperature drop triggered an ick event, and everything just got it. Because it wasn't for like a couple. Yeah, it wasn't until like a couple weeks after I got the Tamini Tang is when everything started going haywire. And I'm like, why would everything all of a sudden be getting ick? After he's been eating, he's getting some weight, he's looking good, he's coming up to the front of the glass when I come to the tank. He wasn't as scared, and then just ick. I'm like, fuck. Tried to save as much as I could, but I did, and now I've got UV running properly.
There you go. Steven's pond hit 20 or 95 today.
Dang, Steven.
Pretty toasty. Steven, did you see Shelby? It was Shelby. Grant's post about their pond temperatures the other day down in Florida. The side of his totes that his ponds are in was 140 degrees.
Damn.
That water was well over 100. I don't know if they just have shrimp in it or what, but that is pretty damn hot.
Aqua Garden Zen, do you have your pH probe going? Because I know you have that Apex Junior, right? If so, I recommend just switching your alkalinity to Kalkwasser and then just continue with your calcium. Because the alkalinity in Kalkwasser is good, but it also adds that pH boost. So you can get like a double whammy with it. Oh, you got rid of that thing? Good. Good.
That thing is gone.
That thing is gone. I thought about getting one, but it just looked so bad. can't control nothing on it. It's just a monitor.
Which pH monitor was it?
The Apex Junior from Neptune.
So it monitors pH, but you can't use it to trigger anything else?
It can monitor pH, temperature, and a couple of sensors for like leak detection and shit.
But you can't set triggers off of what it monitors to do other stuff.
I don't think it can.
Well, then what's the point of monitoring it?
I don't know. Ask Neptune. That's why I went with Hydros. I can hook up a any Wi-Fi bar that takes 2.4 and control whatever the fuck I want off of one brain from anything that they sell. So you could get the base model brain from Hydros and any Wi-Fi strip that's 2.4 gigahertz, and it'll control it.
Yeah. Are you listening, Stephen? I know you've been looking at saltwater stuff lately. We're talking about saltwater stuff. You should be paying attention, taking notes. He said that if he won an RO unit, he would set up a saltwater tank. Well, he won an RO unit at the Clash, and now we're still waiting on the saltwater tank. But he's looking.
Hey, I'm glad he's not rushing it. I took 2 years of like thoroughly researching salt before I did anything with a 10-gallon.
I've been cycling the same fucking rock for a year now.
Patience is key in this hobby. Going fast is going to get you nowhere good.
Some water companies use calc to soften it. How it causes it to precipitate out.
Yeah, so it's not good to dose like other stuff while you're dosing kalkwasser. That's like he was saying, he was dosing alkalinity at night, calcium at day. That's a good way to help make sure it doesn't precipitate.
Right.
And RODI is key. I mean, I'm the guy that did tap water brief, you know.
I mean, it's doable. You're going to have a hard time, but it's doable.
It looked good. It's just soft corals and a couple of LPS, but I struggled with SPS. Like, they just died in my tanks. And some inverts didn't like my tanks at all. So I switched up and doing RODI.
So I just figured this out the other day, and I thought I had it sorted out, but apparently not. I've got a 5-stage, and somehow I'm putting 100 TDS out of it right now. I just changed all the filter media 6 months ago, including the membrane, and I'm getting 100 TDS out. It's 550 in, 100 out. 0 GH, 6 KH. So it's not very good water.
So is that out of the membrane or out of your last stage, the DI too?
Out of the membrane. The DI burn, like it pushing 100 TDS out of the membrane, that DI would burn up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I noticed I went through the DI quick.
Yeah. You'll be burning through DI. So maybe do you have a single membrane or are you using a dual membrane?
Single. I might add another one to see if it brings it down.
That's what I've seen other people do. They just recirculate the wastewater from the first membrane into the second one.
Yeah.
And then you feed both of the clean water lines into each other.
Right. Might be the way to go, I think. Steven said he needs to figure out if his existing water or his existing equipment will work for salt water.
Mm-hmm.
You can make anything work.
Flubal Aqua Sky, I believe it will support some macroalgae growth at least. Soft corals.
I mean, it's some softies.
Might be able to do some softies. Flubal Aqua Clear. Yeah, I've seen people do use those in salt water, they'll make refugiums out of them because they're clear, and they'll like light the sides of them or light the top and then black out. But yeah, they'll work. Yep, macroalgae.
Yeah, Steven, 0GH, 6KH. My tap water is 550 plus TDS. So it is brutal. There are some badass macroalgae out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, people are starting to keep more and more of them. What was it? The last, not Macna. It might have been Aquila, Chicago. They had some macroalgae tanks in the skate competition. And
That's
that was
what I
pretty
like
sweet.
seeing too.
That was pretty cool to see. And then I watched one of the frag offs that they did. It was like they gave you like 30 minutes to complete as many frags as you can. Like, you each get a similar sized
Mhm.
coral, same species, and they graded on how many frags you made and how well, like, you fragged them, like how well it's attached to the plug, how clean the cut is. They also gave them every tool under the sun to do a really good job instead of breaking chalices apart and hoping they stick back to a frag plug.
Yeah, everyone gets a brand new Griffin saw to use. It's fucking cool to watch them.
Yeah, like, hey, here's a griffin for you, here's a griffin for you, and here's some 2-part epoxy, here's some putty. It's like one of them, what they call it? It was like they'd use both like a regular putty, and then they'd use like some 2-part, and then even like just some cyanoacrylate. They'd like somehow use all 3 of them to stick it to this frag plug, and it worked out really well.
Have you used a bandsaw to cut coral?
I haven't, no.
Me neither. Looks fun as hell though. But also like pretty stressful because like what if you cut it wrong? But like I've also seen people cut hammers and signerinas straight up like pizza.
Yeah, which is
And
like they're taking plate corals and they're just like, bzz, bzz, bzz. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
well, some of them they don't post update videos on. It's like, okay, what happened here? Did you just sell them? Did they die? And
Right?
there's this other guy in Australia who tried it, and he actually posted an update video of the ones he cut a few months earlier, and showed like the ones he just cut, the ones that are healing, and then like ones from a year ago. And they actually made new corals.
That's
And
pretty cool.
he's getting to the point where now he's making like 2nd and 3rd generation cut signerinas, and it's really cool.
Oh, damn.
And
Steven said
people are doing it
his,
with scullies, and the scullies are cool because they'll when you cut them, they make different colors.
they really?
They don't. We're not making different colors, but their patterns are changing, and they look completely different than where their
Yeah.
mother.
Steven mentioned that he has some phosphate and chloramine in his water. Said that the phosphate is a problem for salt.
Mhm.
Chloramines will get you some hair algae real quick if you're not running a 5-stage RODI. The phosphate, phosphate's just a headache for salt and fresh.
Yeah, but if you're doing macroalgae, that phosphate might actually help because they're going to use a ton of it. And usually, when going nano tanks, it's hard to keep phosphate up naturally with just nano fish and feeding. Um, so it might not be that bad of a thing. Might be difficult to start up with the high phosphates, but I think you can overcome it.
Well, Steven said he only has a 4-stage. Like Howard Garden said, you can add just like if you have a 4-stage, it's probably just not doing DI. It's So just 4-stage RO. You can add a 5th stage on there easy enough.
I'm actually taking a stage off.
Like, yeah, you
But
can.
I'm stupid because I have like 25 TDS coming out my tap and I don't need a 4-stage. It's just gonna
Right.
be sediment, carbon, DI, no wastewater.
Be
Because
nice.
I've had this RODI for over a year and it's still putting out 0 TDS and my DI stage is still blue.
So it's not even doing anything with DI.
No. I have a TDS meter coming from the membrane and after it's done with its TDS creep, it puts out 0. So I don't even need DI.
That's
But I'm figuring, okay, so why would I waste water to get 0 when I can just push it all through the DI and get 0?
right.
And even if I have to replace DI 4 or 5 times a year, I'm fine with that. Because I haven't
That's,
changed DI once in over a year.
that's insane. I'd, I'd like to know how few people can get away with that in this world.
Well, and I figured this out from one of the local farm guys. He does it with 20-inch carbon blocks and 20-inch DI stages, and he runs so much water throughout his farm. It's insane. What is the wastewater anyway? Like 12? I don't fucking know. I haven't tested it.
My wastewater is like 700 or something. It is seriously retarded.
Test your RO for phosphate. Might be a good idea.
So
I do
Hannah
have.
has a phosphate, just one of the little digital phosphate checkers, right?
Mm-hmm. I have 4 phosphate or Hannah checkers. Don't mean to brag, but I got them all for free.
I would gladly the Hannah checker. I wish Hannah would make those for fresh water that actually
You can use
works.
them in fresh. Dedge uses them all the time. He uses them every week on his stream. He's using the nitrate and phosphate. And he's able to track his tanks down to the 0.5. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't test my water, but those would be a game changer that would cause me to test my water at least a few times.
Have a collection of Hannah checkers. I know there's so many of them.
I'd imagine there's probably just like a master kit or something.
They have one now that's an all-in-one little box that just sits on your desk and you put the water in and it tells you everything, your alkalinity, calcium, mag, nitrate, phosphate, and I believe pH.
I don't know if I want to spend the money on that. It's probably not cheap.
Probably not. I don't know. I can look it up right now.
Just say off to Bulk Reef I go.
If they sell it, they're taking off so much shit.
It's just funny because they added freshwater and they're getting rid of some saltwater stuff.
Okay, so the Marine Master Bluetooth multi-parameter photometer is $449.95 on Bulk Reef Supply.
I mean, by the time you buy all the separate Hannah checkers, that's probably not that far off.
No, I think you're right.
Just like the Hannah High Reef 2 Pro kit is 300, and those are all separate.
I mean,
Tell
it's
you
a
what I
lot
want.
cheaper than what Hydros is coming out with. Their all-in-one tester is going to be $11.99.
Woof.
Yeah, and it's supposed to compete with Neptune's new Trident MP and their original Trident.
Really.
Hmm.
So Hannah's Pro test kit has salinity, phosphate, calcium, and alk for $300, or you can get everything for $450.
Yeah, the master Bluetooth.
Yeah, yep, the one you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well just
It's
spend the $450.
right. And this would be a good thing if this is somebody who's just trying to start up like a garage frag farm or maybe a small fish room, and you want to be able to track the parameters of your tanks without spending a whole lot of time. This will do it. And I know there's another one too, the aqua spin.
Yep.
I want a purely digital test with no consumables. That's asking for a lot. We have
Yeah,
not
you
come
have to have
that far.
some reference solution at some point in time.
Yeah,
Short
you
of
want to
doing
get
like freaking NMR on something, I guess. But
Aqua Garden Zen. Now is the perfect time to get into hydros. I think if you want to start out, get the launch because it comes with everything you need: four controllable ports, AC ports, drive ports, sensor ports, pH, and I think salinity too.
I'd imagine. Steven asked how the HANA checkers actually work.
So yeah, it's like a KH test. You know, when you do your KH test and you're doing the drop, you shake it and you wait for it to change color. So it's this eye that's reading the color change, and um, based off the color, it gives you the number. And they're pretty accurate. I use them and trust them. Some people uh, don't like them or had bad experiences with them. I think it's down to user error mostly. There
Probably.
is there is a kind of way you want to use them. You don't just want to slam the vial in there and close the lid real hard. You kind of want to make sure it's sitting in a certain direction every time you use it. You want to make sure you're filling it up to the same level you use it every time and just be consistent with how you use it, and you should get consistent numbers. But like if you're, because these are glass vials, it's not perfect. It's blown glass, so the edges on some end might be different thickness. So if you're lining it up to where it's the same direction every time, it should be easy uh, accuracy because it's the same thing every time.
So Trident has their water analyzer in it, but it only tests calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, and that's $680.
And get this, you cannot control it without a Apex brain. So look at the price of the Apex brain that you need to control that with.
Probably don't want to know the actual price, but
That thing is not controllable without the brain. The Trident. And they just came out with the Trident MP, which is their okay, guys. So you've been asking for nitrate and phosphate testing. Here you go. Some nitrate and phosphate tester that you still can't control without a brain. But you know, hydros out here. I know how I said that $11.99 sticker is kind of high. It is a brain with ports, with 7 or 5-in-1 testing, whatever the alkalinity to phosphate, all that, with each controller, or each one is controllable. The Trident, you have to test all three at the same time, and you don't really have a way to customize it to say you just wanted to test it once a day, just once a day. It can't do that. It wants to test multiple times a day. I think the least you can do on a scheduled dose is 4 times a day. Other than that, it has to be manual testing.
Really?
hmm The least amount of times it can test is 4 times a day on automatic. But some people just keep it on manual, and like when they're getting their coffee and they're scrolling on TikTok, they'll just do the manual test on their other device.
Okay.
But the Trident's been around for a while. I mean, the customer service for it's pretty good. If you give them the money, they'll send it back for you. Doesn't matter how long you've had it. So they
Yeah.
still seem to back that. But the Maven's coming out. That's Hydros' new baby, the Maven. It looks good for what it is. For being everything you need, you can still tie it into your other Hydros devices and become a collective. It can power other devices to be a backup, or if you just want it to be that sole input, or that sole device for your tank, that's fine. And here's another cool thing about the Maven. Now, I'm not a sales guy here, but you can test 2 tanks. It has 2 inputs. No other tester has that.
It's pretty cool. It'll save you the whole cost of another brain on a separate tank.
Yeah. And it is also, if you have Hydros already, it's a backup brain to your collective. If something happens, if one of your wall outlets goes out, you can have this other one in another outlet on a different circuit, and it'll still keep power to everything and control everything just the same. So that's the really cool thing about Hydros. You can have multiple brains and multiple backups just in case. And everything kind of ties together. With the Apex system, everything runs off the brain. So like, here's the brain. You can't use the Trident without the brain. You can't use a dose without the brain. Hydros is making it to where everything they come out with is a brain and can be used as a backup to your collective.
It's pretty smart.
Not to mention the cool blue lights. Yep. Team Blue.
Plus, you can get it for just $75 a month or 0% APR with A-Firm right now.
Yep.
Game changer.
If you want to go down that road, you totally can.
you can finance your aquarium controller now.
I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. And Steven, here's the cool thing that I don't think freshwater people are getting. Hydros is telling people you can use this on freshwater. They have freshwater people using this on freshwater, but no freshwater people are talking about it. Why? Are they scared of progression? Are they scared of the new technology? Like I saw that some of these bigger YouTubers were doing smart aquariums. And I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. But it's kind of in the wrong direction. Hydros is literally making smart aquariums that we can control from our phone with widgets with 0 coding. If you don't have to have any coding experience to program a Hydros. Apex, I hope you know line code. I don't.
There's your answer right there, Jeff.
I mean, kinda. I don't get it though, because I see a lot of freshwater people with a lot of freshwater tanks. But I imagine if we just had that one freshwater tank that we could put our time and money into, we could have this kind of shit. But everyone's pushing, we got to have the biggest fish room with the biggest fish tanks, with the most amount of tanks and the most diverse shit.
Oh, for sure, Steven. It's like you could. It's like the fact that people even started putting like dosing systems and by I mean a dosing system, I literally just mean a pump that you pre-program onto it, like a freshwater planted tank, is crazy. Now think about if you had a controller that monitored the level of magnesium in your tank, and it's like, oh, I need to dose more magnesium. It's like, all right, here you go. You, it's cruise control. You do your water changes. You can automate your water changes. Like,
Yeah. Or what if you had a pH probe controlling your CO2 reactor for your planted tank?
like that's been a thing for a while. Just nobody does it. Because American Pinpoint makes a decent pH monitor and controller. But if you look at freshwater, like the number of people that are even freshwater is afraid
I
of CO2,
I
let
don't know,
alone
Jeff.
anything else.
Like people out here spending lots of money on L number plecos and fancy discus and cories and stuff. Like that shit adds up, man.
I don't cheat, Stephen. I just put enough dirt in my tank that it makes enough CO2 for everything.
People still think CO2 is cheating. Yeah, I don't get that. Like CO2 is just another tool to use in the hobby.
And I
You
don't
don't
think
need
people
it, but
realize the naturally occurring levels of CO2 in some of the like waterways. I think it is way higher than people think. And the 5 ppm that most people get out of their tap water is not a thing. It's even something to consider. No
for
shit.
100,000s on coral. Yeah, I mean people go nuts, but I don't think everyone's going to do that. I think the majority of people are going to have like a 55 to 75 gallon tank, and I don't think that's too much to ask for as a single display to have
Right.
kind of high tech stuff.
I think like for me, the breaking point in saltwater is like a 40 breeder with a 20 long sump or a 75 with a 40 breeder sump. Like you're you're golden. You get all the benefits.
Yeah.
You could keep whatever freaking coral you want,
Hmm.
and you don't have the huge price tag of and anymore now. I mean, LEDs are much cheaper. Like you don't have to run 3 400-watt metal halides plus 2 VHO tubes to get what you want out of lights.
And you're changing bulbs out once a year.
Freaking what's
LEDs
his name?
last forever. Well, I don't know about forever, but like, they
Like
kind of dim, but years and
like 10
years.
10,000 plus hours is what most of them are claiming. I think. I like watching frags grow. Like I watch it. I like watching the development of a saltwater tank. Like that's why I like planted tanks. I can grow out a planted tank in 6 months if I have the time and energy to put into it. Like a saltwater tank, it just requires more time and things happen a little bit slower.
Man, I got some shit in my eye.
I hear you, Steven. You're fighting an uphill battle on that one. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't done it. I don't know what my actual CO2 levels were because I used to use South Dakota tap water, which was pretty hard, and I ran CO2 on it. But like I said, I never checked to see how much CO2 was actually getting in the tank. There were some
Yep.
good black box. I remember when SB Reef used to just before they got super popular, and then somebody ended up buying it in the past couple of years, I think. But it's all a Nylock G Prism, like I run on my 75 or my 125 upstairs on Planet Tank. That's a SB Reef light with some LEDs swapped out for different colors to be more geared towards a Planet Tank instead of a saltwater tank.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
now, what do they call it? If you want a budget saltwater light, they have the Vipars now, like
The Philzon, Vipars, Night Crew, they're coming out with some good stuff for saltwater. Like their Hyper Reef 50 to 150 series are really good right now and decent price. Like they're less than half the price of the competitors, and they're doing the same thing as a
Yeah.
rate. They're growing the same coral as a radion.
A lot of the saltwater, like freshwater people are cheap. Saltwater people, it's kind of a dick measuring contest. Like, oh,
Yeah, how much money can I spend on my tank? For me, it's how much
right,
money can I save?
right.
Yo, I got this protein skimmer free.
Free 99, bitch.
You out here spending $300 on a skimmer.
Three
Let me
hundred
put that
dollars
on
on
a
a skimmer.
controller.
$300 skimmer is not even bad anymore. Some of those prices are through the freaking roof.
That's the average price of a skimmer right now for a 75 to 100-gallon tank. $300 is your skimmer.
What are the big names in skimmers now? It used to be like everybody's running reef octopuses.
It's still Reef Octopus, Varios, Simplicity's coming up. They're like one of those USA marketed China brands, but
Yeah. I mean, think about a skimmer though. It's literally it's a pump with a needle wheel impeller and a cone to collect stuff. Like there can't be that much technology and research and development that goes into it.
it's all the features now. So does it have a nice feed mode when you press the feed button? Does it have a nice ramp when you turn it on? Does it have a timer um, built in for water changes? Does it have a neck cleaner that you can turn every day to clean the neck? Those are
I
things
don't
that people want nowadays. I remember
know.
when people would just freak out about not having a skimmer and just trying to get that aeration into the water. And that's
Right?
what is important. Just getting that oxygen to shoot through a small tube and create bubbles that move out of the tube.
Yeah. Like Aqua Garden Zen pointed out, mapping out your par throughout the tank. Uh, and like getting into corals, if you're not just running like all softies or something, like it's definitely a bigger deal to see. It's like plants, for the most part, plants are like, they're either there's a little bit of light, there's a lot of light. Like corals get picky.
Rachel, it's kind of like you can't find them online. You have to know a few people and just ask around like buddies if they've got extra stuff. Most of the time, they're more than happy to hand it down
You
at
know, it's
little
just
to
collecting
nothing.
dust in a box.
If they're a good friend, yeah, it's just collecting dust for them. If they're not using it, like he's like, dude, I'm literally not using this. It's too small for my system, so here you go. I was like, thank you.
Freshwater
I'll use
people are
this.
cheap and buy cheap shit to begin with. It doesn't last, so they can't hand it down.
Or DIY. DIY skimmers work very well. You can build one very cheap with just an air pump and a limewood air stone and a couple of PVC fittings and some tubes.
Well, Reef Octopus Love here. I think we're sponsored by Reef Octopus in here or something.
Yep, Reef Octopus good. People with closed mouths don't get fed. Yep. And it's good to just reach out like when you're going to clubs and stuff. That's a great way to meet other people and get to know them.
Yeah, just ask. Like tell people like if people know that you're looking, they're a lot more willing to offer. I mean, I'm not like looking for handouts. I'm just saying like if people know you're looking for something, and they're like, oh hey, I've got a whole box of stuff in my garage. If you want to dig through it and see if there's anything you can use.
hmm Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff that I don't use. And I'm pissed at myself because I had a Hannah checker that I wanted to give to Rick and I didn't freaking give it to him. I have an extra alkalinity checker that I'm not using. It's just sitting brand new in a box.
Stores too, yeah. Like
Or
sometimes stores
stores.
just
Mm-hmm.
clean out their old you like they take in used gear on tank setups that people bring by and I guess Red Sea has some expensive skimmers. Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
everything Red Sea is expensive, but
yeah. You need to hang out with other like-minded weirdos. Yep. You need some more weirdos, Rachel. But we here. I got you. If you ever need anything, just ask. I probably have something, and if I don't, I'll just tell you.
like, max spec skimmers kind of look like spaceships.
Mm-hmm. Those guys are cool. They're coming out with some different stuff. They have like a dual pump thing where it's actually two impellers, two different pumps that you can control.
You know,
Yeah, it's kind of funky. But I think
just one.
Varios is doing something similar.
So if they're running two pumps, is one just for flow through the skimmer and one's the actual like aerator, or how does that work?
No, they're like both water pushing water through the thing, and they're controlling them with brains, and I don't know what they're doing. Honestly, they're pretty fancy and complicated. But they can do
The
some cool stuff, and I'm just like, man, I just need some fractionation.
right. The the Neos Quantum 300 is only $1,200.
Only
That's
for the 300, that's their smallest one, I think. Or no,
it.
I think
It
their
looks like they're
100.
going to a 120,
Yeah, their 120 is the smallest, I think. Yeah.
and that one's still 350.
Someone who needs one, Ian, get someone hooked. Brains. Mm, he wants a hydro sprain. I'll find one in my bucket of parts somewhere.
There might be one laying around somewhere.
Might be. I don't know. I'm liking the fact that I can use them on anything. So even if I do get out of salt and go back straight fresh, I can still control my freshwater tank like a saltwater tank. I don't think I'm gonna do a big fish room again for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm torn. About every 3 or 4 months, I'm like, I should just tear down the fish room and just focus on the 125 and make the 125 actually look nice, and then set up a saltwater tank. And I'm like, I like to breed stuff too. So problem is right now I'm not breeding anything cool. It's just stuff's breeding for the sake of breeding.
I don't know those amatola. I can't ever say them. The yellow eyes or blue eyes convicts.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
yeah. I've got a pair. It's actually offspring from one of my old pairs up to the 125 that are sitting on fry right now, and I've got three of the older pairs down here.
How are they with
And
your plants?
they don't bother plants any.
Hmm, that's
They're
cool
just
for a
they
cichlid.
chill. Yeah, they're usually pretty chill. As I say that, there's one pair with each other right now, so they'll probably be spawning soon. But they're locking lips. I don't know if I can
Ooh,
see it. See
locking
if I can
lips.
walk over there. Get my phone on. They'll probably quit by the time I walk over. But
Ooh, look at them. That's the female on the right.
yeah, yep.
Yep, she's getting ready to spawn. She's got her spawning dress on. God, they're just so pretty.
You tell the spots on her dorsal are all kinds of lit up right now. She's kind of turned sideways. You can't really see. But
She's glowing. Even the male's glowing.
yeah, for as dumb and easy as they are to breed, they're some of my favorites right now. She just
I don't
got
see
all
how
that.
they're not so popular.
I,
I mean, it's probably because of how easy they are to breed, but
People have just
man,
never seen them though. Like I don't know. I'm waiting for her to turn sideways. There she goes.
And it's tough because they don't get that color when they're a half-inch baby at the fish store.
No. Just
They're
gray.
just gray, a couple spots on them.
Got that pair's chilling in there. They'll probably spawn the next couple days from the looks of it. And some Shelleys. Where did they go? Just multifasciatus. Spawning pair of Congos in here.
Oh, nice. Have you gotten anything from them yet?
I got some eggs the other day. I just moved the mop up to a different tank to see if it'll hatch out.
Nice.
So they should be pretty easy. Another pair of these guys. You can see she's not colored up right now.
Yeah.
Pretty dull. And then I just pulled Fry out of this tank.
Yep, they're in their parental colors. Good colors on them.
They like to eat. I could sit and, if I sat next to the tank, I could probably feed these guys all day long. And they would just keep eating nonstop.
He's a good sized male.
But the pair that's up at the 125 is pretty aggressive when they're spawning. Because I was up there doing a water change the other day, and he was taking swings at me. Like, I don't know. You might be able to get it. They actually have. I mean, for the size of fish they are, they have decent sized teeth.
I can believe it. They're Central American, and Central Americans get some little teeth on them. They grip you like sandpaper. Yeah. I can see a little bit of them. What lens are you using there?
This is a Zenbow, just like a little clip-on lens.
Hmm.
I've got the case on my phone, so it won't sit on there quite right. But super cool little fish, super easy to spawn.
They're not that popular over here.
I don't know why. I mean, I'd take a million of these over one convict any day.
Same. I see convicts all day fucking long in every single fish store, but I never see those. I think I've
And
seen
these,
them at the wet spot a couple of times.
yeah, I mean, and these are basically convicts. They're just like the males are super cool, like the shimmer on this guy right now, like in the dorsal and the tail.
Clarky got you good the other day. Aqua Garden. Nice.
Clownfish are assholes. Typical damsel fish.
Ooh, I saw this video the other day of a chromis female laying eggs on the glass like an angelfish.
No shit.
Yeah, it was really cool. I want to see if I
That's
can find that short.
That's a new one to me.
It was crazy. Let me go look. Where is it? You know, I think it was on Instagram or something. See if I can't find it. It was on Instagram, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
I had a few green chromis for a while, a long time ago. And I don't know. I think those three were the only ones I ever kept. So that was like when I first got into salt water. I'm like, oh, these fish are only like $3. Like, I'll get some of them. It's cool. Like when I was in Guam, I'd go diving, and you'd see like a school of chromis, and it'd be like
Yeah.
100 of them. It was something else. It'd be like seeing 1,000 neon tetras.
Yeah, chromis in the wild are really beautiful. Crazy to see.
Like clowns, like should be like sand bed for a while, and then like one like little rocky outcropping kind of, and the whole thing would be just be covered in anemones, and there'd just be clowns all over the place around it.
Yeah. My favorite look is like a table coral and just all the little fish popping their heads out from
Yeah.
inside the table coral.
So you get some of the bird's nest type, and like the acros, you see like all the cardinals, like all the fry hanging out inside it, or even an urchin. I've seen like long spined urchin, like a pair of cardinal fish hanging out and all the fry inside it.
Yep.
I had a buddy years ago, probably 10 years ago now, that was breeding clownfish. So he'd sell people like big groups of clowns. So since they were all from the same spawn, they'd get along pretty well. It's like there was another guy in the club that bought like a group of like 20 of them. So he just had a tank with just red bubble tips and all these clownfish from this guy that had spawned them.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty cool to see.
Harems are really cool. I tried anemones. Meh.
I've had mixed luck. I've had red and green bubble tips that did well, and then I had a super cool. It was an orange condylactus with purple tentacles.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Until it found a power head,
Oh no.
and it decided it wanted to play slice and dice with the power head, and ended up in probably 5,000 pieces.
Nematocysts going everywhere.
Which by the time I found it, I'm like, well, I guess I'd better do a big water change, and it was a mess. I had that same tank. It was before the condylactus decided to shred itself in the power head. I had some kind of fairy wrasse. I don't remember specifically which one. But it took a ride down into the sump and found it in the sump one day.
Nice.
Wrasses are another fish that they're hit or miss. Like you either have great luck with them or no luck with them.
Man, I loved my wrasse. He was doing so well. He was almost 2 years old, and then just
Did he jump or what?
the ick got him.
Oh, yeah.
Ick. My mistake.
Possum wrasse?
Fish. Yep, possum wrasse. What? Morella
So-
nigropinita.
So the possum wrasse is it's red with white stripes?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, more like pink with like white stripes and gold in there. But they're really cool little nano fish. They only get like that. And they just hunt pods and flatworms and shit all day.
Yeah. Pretty cool fish.
Very personable. He would pick fights with my dwarf angelfish, and the dwarf angelfish would zip back real fast, and they would just slowly chase each other throughout the tank.
Oh,
Because they both don't go very fast. I mean, they can move fast when they want to, but they're just like chasing each other, and the angelfish is trying to nip the wrasse, but they're not going anywhere fast, and then they just kind of give up halfway through.
There's a guy in the club I used to be in, up in South Dakota. Before he set up, he ended up setting up like a big like 400. But before he set that up, he had like a 4 foot. I guess it'd be a 120 instead of a 125.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a powder blue in there, and the powder blue lived under a rock, like it lay sideways in the sand under a rock. And like it had a lot of personality, but if anybody came near that damn rock, like they were losing skin for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, powder blues are insane. I have a powder blue. It's the easiest tang I've ever kept. Check it out.
There you go.
Yep, I got one. I don't have to feed him. He don't need water changes. Easiest fish ever.
Chalk bass. I'm not sure what a chalk bass is.
Um, they were one of the bigger kind of medium-sized bass
Okay.
flips.
Huh. So neat.
They are neat. I've seen some chunky ones though, at like 6 inches, 6 inches long, and
Really.
they're kind of like football shaped.
Hmm. I had a buddy a while back. He had a little 5 gallon nano tank that he built. He kind of separated like the back. He ran the tank the long way. So you look at it, the front was a short side. So you looked at it the long way, and he turned the back like 6 inches into a sump area, and then he had like some sexy shrimp, and then I think he just had a is it might have been a tail spot bunny, like just a tiny little bunny. It was super cool. Just put some zoas and some shrooms in there.
Nice.
I remember when bounce shrooms first came out, and the price on those was thousands of dollars for a bounce shroom.
Yep, the OG bounce mushroom.
And then everybody wanted to call their shrooms bounce shrooms, even if they weren't bounce shrooms.
No, they're just corals with cancer. I don't get the bounce craze because people be like, "Yo, I got this bounce chalice coral or this bounce fucking hammer coral," and I'm like, "Yo, you're literally selling coral with cancer. It's not healthy. It's not supposed to look that way."
There was we went to we didn't really have at the time a saltwater shop in the city I lived in. So we'd go down to Omaha because they had 3 stores that all had saltwater and freshwater. So we'd go down there, and we went in one day, and one of the shops had a display tank, and they had this absolutely beautiful. It was a gold wall hammer, and like probably the size of a basketball.
Nice.
And one of the guys that I was with, he's like, "How much for that one?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. That's the display tank. I'd have to ask the owner." He's like, "Well, go ask the owner how much you want for it." I was like, "Oh, I said he won't sell it." He's like, "I'll give you 500 right now for it." I was like, "No, not
Not
selling
even
it."
worth it.
And then like a month later, we went back, and they said that coral had died. Like they lost a few corals in there, and one of them was that gold wall hammer.
Yep.
Like, whoops. I had
Well,
the only
isn't your friend as smart for not taking it, not not getting it?
the only I had the one time I've tried a Dunkin', it did great for like 6 months, and like overnight it just like got pissed off. I think it was magnesium, and it just went from looking great to absolute trash in about 12 hours. Wasn't able to save it.
Duncan is one of those corals in my experience that I struggle with too, and it's supposed to be one of those easier LPS corals, but like it didn't like my tank, and it very similar. It was looking good, and then just lost all its color and
Yeah, gave up.
went downhill. Just gave up. I still have the skeleton. I save all the coral skeletons and I put them in a little
Do you really?
basket next to the tank, and it reminds me of all the mistakes I made to become a better reefer. Maybe one day, if I make a calcium reactor, I'll put all the dead coral skeletons in
Just put
there.
them all in there.
Thought about it.
An 8-year-old colony of Duncans. That had to be pretty good size.
Nice.
That seems like a long time to keep the same coral.
I mean, some of these corals have been in the hobby for 20 to 30 years. Milka
Mhm.
Stylo's been one that's been in the hobby since like the 80s. and it's just the same piece getting passed down,
Right.
dragged up.
It's crazy how that works. Like I don't know, it'd be cool to like track the history of like a coral and like the frags, like the descendants of that coral.
Yeah.
Tie it back. It's like obviously like I've been out of corals for a while, but like Jason Fox used to have like all of his lines of stuff. I'm like, does anybody have one that they can specifically like personally tie back to like the original Jason Fox?
Yeah, it's getting more difficult to find those, but there are some old school, old heads out here that like bought them way in the 90s to early 2000s, and they're just now starting to come out with these names that we haven't seen in 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, I
We
bet they're
thought
going
they
for
were
big
long gone,
bucks.
thought they were long gone, and they're just now starting to come back. Like,
Probably not coming back for cheap though.
no, they're not. I mean, these are legacy strains. These are corals that have been in the hobby for literally decades. They've never seen the reef. We couldn't ask for any healthier kind of specimen. I think
Yeah,
it's worth to pay that much. I mean, stylos are cheap. You can find the frags for 10, $5.
right,
And same with green slimers, but like Oregon Tort, the purple monster, and the pink tip paletta, those corals are still gonna demand that price because they're a legacy coral.
right.
They're just a little bit more slower, more difficult to grow.
Do you remember? Or it might have been before you started keeping salt. There used to be the what was it? Jack o' lantern lepto.
Leptoceras, jack o'
Yeah,
lantern, Leptoceras. Yep,
it used to
that's
be
a
stupid expensive.
that's a coral that's being mislabeled a lot these days. People are taking wild caught gold leptos and slapping jack o' lantern on them, and it's like, do you not know the actual color patterns of a jack o' lantern lepto from that's been around forever?
Right. So,
I don't
but
like that, the taking of wild corals and then just slap a legacy name on them.
yeah, it's a money grab.
At least come up with something new.
Yeah, like come up with your own name. Like if it's a name people haven't seen before, then they'll think it's the big new craze. That's why Zoas have 4 billion different names for the same stuff.
And it's funny too because the same coral that got collected 30 years ago, say the milk of stylo, came from the Red Sea. It's the only stony coral that we have in the hobby that comes from the Red Sea. The only other coral, pulsing zinnia.
Really,
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why milk of stylo is cool to me. That I mean, you got to like figure out the history of some of these corals, and you can learn a lot about like where they come from and why they're pretty cool. Why
Yeah,
they're
that's pretty cool. So
I get down and nerdy with these corals, man.
I dig it. I dig it. I'm learning, man. So I've been out of the game for a long time, and I was never really like deep into the saltwater game. I just kind of got my feet wet. So but anyway, we've been at it for a while now. I think I'm gonna call it a night, bud.
3 hours is a good stream.
That's
We
long
haven't
enough for
talked in a
me.
while. This was good.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'm a little more motivated to fix the stupid BioCube now, so I appreciate it.
Get to it, man.
So,
If you haven't
all
opened
right,
my
guys.
box yet, you should do it because they'll help you with your fish room.
Good, good. We'll get there. I'm gonna make a video. We were talking about not putting videos out. Man, one of these days I'm gonna make a video of Ian's box.
I don't
And
even care if you don't make a video. I did a live stream and just did it on stream, and I forgot to clip it, so I haven't done anything either.
yeah, I'll make it happen. So, all right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a good night, and expect me to stream again sometime this week.
Night,
See ya.
guys.